organizer. I've been organizing. I'll just start again. Hi, everybody. My name's Troy. I'm going to be teaching today's class on editing in Canva video. I'm an organizer. I've been organizing since 2019, and that's actually also how I got my start in video editing. Like someone else mentioned today here, I also took my first video editing course in college in Premiere Pro, and I'd used it for a couple of projects in school. I was studying film, and then I ended up really sort of like honing my craft as an organizer. I started off organizing with the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, specifically the Campaign to Free Incarcerated Survivors of Police Torture. And it just kind of felt like a very natural thing to do, right? Like a big part of that, you know, project felt like getting the word out to folks. And so editing videos for social media is an excellent way to do that. And in 2020, when everything stopped, I was working retail and I took this like online course or something to that effect, talking with a video editor, and I kind of realized that I could actually pivot into it as a career. So I've worked on commercials, I've done assistant video editing for projects involving like eBay and Jeep and stuff like that. And now I work for Respire Media, which is an abolitionist media project. We make this podcast called Ergo every week. We've interviewed people like Angela Davis, Miriam Kaba, Adrienne Mary Brown. I highly recommend checking out Ergo. It's a great movement archive. But yeah, and so at the end of the class, I do want to talk a little bit about like video editing as like a craft and as a trade that can help you make somewhat of a living wage. But for now, we're going to be talking about video editing as an organizing tool, and we're going to be diving into Canva video. So, sharing the screen. Okay, let me make sure. Cool. Everybody can see this? Cool. So the first thing I want to address with editing with Canva video is something that feels like it might be relevant to direct actionists and organizers, which is how to sign up for Canva anonymously. I'm just going to throw that out there. I was trying to experiment with it before this class. I think the easiest way to do it would be to get a burner that's an Android phone and sign up for a Gmail using that burner and then using the Gmail to sign up for Canva. Um, Using Proton Mail won't work because Proton won't let you sign up for a third party. If you like just sign up for the Proton that day, you have to like verify your Proton address. Proton emails, maybe many of you know, is like an encrypted email service. So it's like more secure, but because it's more secure, they're very wary of people using it to like spam and stuff like that. So anyways, just throwing that out there. If people are more curious about how to like do things anonymously, I would recommend the No Trace project, which I'll type out into the chat. Yeah, okay, cool. It's good to know. All right, so diving into how to actually use this, you're gonna see all these little options. Canva, I'm sure everybody knows, but it's like for graphic design primarily. It's a great place to make flyers. Click on video, just to go over it a little bit. You've got all these different aspect ratios, but they're pretty much all the same. So like looking at this, it might be kind of confusing. You've got Instagram story, mobile video, TikTok video. These are actually all the same. So if you see at the bottom, the resolution is 1080 by 1920. So with video, high definition resolution is 1920 by 1080, which is this option I'm hovering over right now. Other options include 4K, which is way denser than this. And then before that, the standard was standard definition, which was like 720 by like 490 or something like that. Anyways, but this is the standard that you're going to see on Vimeo, YouTube, and as it's showing here, like Instagram, etc. You're actually going to have a little bit of loss with some of these, and I'll talk about that later if we get to it. But so basically, yeah, I mean, choose any of the ones that are vertical video, at least for the project that we're working on today. So we're going to get into the interface. So the first thing that I think can be quite confusing about using video for Canva is when you click on your project and it looks like this. And it just looks like a regular, like, graphic kind of interface. What you're going to want to do is go down here to the corner and click on pages, and it'll give you this timeline view. And you'll be in your video editing view. Oh, also, I didn't intro. I hope you guys are following along. You don't have to, but I think it'll kind of help because I think there's a lot of issues with using this video editor, and just like getting some practice in is going to be really good. Okay. So it's funny because the way Canva works, right? It's like graphic first, and then it's video. So this is called a page, and this down here is a page. And so you can add different pages, again, with like a typical nonlinear video editor like Final Cut, Premiere Pro, Avid, etc. It's going to be like clips, for example. But anyway, so just to understand the terminology that Canva uses, it's pages. Okay. So I hopefully you guys got the message about adding in the footage beforehand. If you didn't, so there should have been a Google Drive link, and that was sent with a bunch of like video and a little bit of audio. Download that, and then you're going to upload it. It just takes a bit to upload, so that's why I recommended doing it before the class. But if not, that's fine. So if you want to add a video into your project, click on the video, and then whatever it is, here, hold on. Whatever your playhead, so that's what this guy's called, the playhead. Whatever your playhead is hovering over, when you click on your video, it's going to be added to that page. And then your video is going to always automatically play in this. So you got to press spacebar or press pause to stop it. So what I really want to do with this is be able to offer you guys, an understanding, the understanding that I have as a video editor, workflow as a video editor, social media and cutting for social media sensibilities, and also like kind of an understanding of working as a propagandist, as an organizer. So I'm going to show you how I would work in Canva video. This is just coming from my viewpoint. So let's add this 12-minute long video to this page. Okay, hold on. You guys are okay with that. First thing to understand, right? This video is not as big as your page. You can fix that a couple of ways. You can drag out the corner. If you want to be simple, this will probably work for your purposes for most of the time. You can just click set video as background, and it'll, scale it up. This won't work if it's a wrong like aspect ratio. For example, if you add this video and you do that, it's going to just kind of zoom into a random spot, and it's not going to be as effective. Anyways, so you can either scale up by pulling out the corner or by setting it as background. Now, yeah, here are some of the basic functions of how you use Canva video. So once again, spacebar. I mean, just like in any video editor or video viewer for that matter, I don't know what it's doing right now. Spacebar should be to play and pause. From what I can tell, Canva video doesn't have like a speed up or slow down, which is too bad. And then your very basic function that you're going to be using all the time. Let's watch this footage for a quick moment.
So our first speaker today is Marlon Katz from the Atlanta Solidarity Fund.
If you want to cut your footage, you're going to hit S. S stands for split page. And wherever your playhead is where the cut is going to appear. You can also have your playhead here. You can right-click the video, and even if you're right-clicking the video in a totally different part, that's not where the playhead is, and you click split page, it'll split the page where the playhead is. There's a couple different ways to do that. Another way, so let's watch this footage again. So if you want to, this is Kamau Franklin. So all the footage has to do with the Stop Cop City movement, which was a movement to protect the Atlanta forest from destruction and also prevent the construction of the Cop City project, which is this giant police training facility. The movement started in 2021 and ended, you could say, around end of 2023 or beginning of 2024. And unfortunately, they did build the Atlanta Police Training Facility, but not after 2.5 years of delays and millions of dollars lost to the project. I think it was a very effective movement. Anyways, so going back to watching the footage. So if I want to cut out this at the beginning, I can also hover over and I'll get these two handles. If I drag the handles, it'll cut the
So our
footage.
first speaker today.
It'll also, cut off the first beginning of the clip. Yes. Other things about how the interface works. This is a really neat tool. You can stretch out how much space the timeline takes up versus like your program monitor. That's not what Canva Video calls it, but kind of that's what I'm calling it. I don't know. This down here is going to be super important, and it's what I use a ton as an editor, is just the zoom in feature. So this zoom in feature works two ways. So first, when you have this little black rectangle up here that has the 16:9 aspect ratio that most film does, which is, like I said, the 1920 by 1080, not to get all pedantic. But anyways, so if you see this rectangle kind of like darkened, that means that you're going to zoom into this part at the top, like your viewport, your program monitor, whatever. If you click it again, then it's going to zoom in down here into your timeline. And this is what you're going to end up using a lot, just to like zoom out all the way like this so that you can see your whole project, and then zoom in really close, usually because you're trying to get like a super fine cut. You can also do this, and I hope this is not going to overwhelm people too much. You can also hit Command plus or Control plus, and then Control minus to zoom out. That'll also do it. You can also hold Command or Control and then scroll. And then if you hover over here, it'll do it here. And then you can also, if you're on a laptop, zoom in using the trackpad like this. Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna kind of rush through all of this, and then once I go over like the basic parts of the interface and how to use it, people can ask questions. So the really difficult part about how Canva Video works is like, unlike most nonlinear editors, Premiere Pro, etc., you can't view your footage separately and then bring it into the timeline. You kind of just have to put it all into the timeline, which makes it very confusing. So what I'm recommending we do, or what I would recommend other people do, is I would review the footage, which is a very underrated part of the video editing process. Like, from what I understand about the kinds of videos that you guys are trying to make, you're probably going to have, I don't know, 20 minutes, an hour long, clip of footage. So like, I would have a separate project like this one, and like to like review, and I'd watch, and what I would do is this. I'm gonna just like demonstrate.
Here to speak about one very particular thing that happened yesterday.
And everybody can hear this, right? Yes, okay.
That our organization is very concerned about. The Atlanta Police Department is using plastic bullets and pepper spray against unarmed, nonviolent political protesters.
So I'll watch the footage and keep out an ear and an eye for exactly what my purposes are as, a propagandist or as a social media savvy person, whatever it is. I'm going to say I really like that clip, so I'm going to go back to the start of it.
The Atlanta Police Department.
Oh, that was right at the start. So I'm going to hit S for split.
The Atlanta Police Department.
And then there's this tool that you can use in here called Notes. I click on that. It's going to bring this panel up. I'm going to add in my note into the title, not into this note part here. I'm going to say APD is using chemical. Weapons, right? Okay. So the reason why you're adding it to the title is because it'll show up here. If you add it here, it doesn't add here. So it's just gonna be a way for you to start categorizing your footage as you go along, and then
is using plastic bullets and pepper spray against unarmed, nonviolent political protesters.
And then I'm splitting it again to kind of like make that into its own little clip.
I'll say that again. The Atlanta Police Department is using chemical weapons against unarmed, nonviolent political protesters. This is not normal.
And then I might go like,
This is
that. I'll click on this. I'll change this to, and that is just kind of like, this is very much like an assistant editor like workflow of like how to review footage, how to start pulling selects. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a separate project and then we're going to copy and paste whatever our selects are into there. Let me check my notes really quick to see if there's something I haven't mentioned. And then I might pause for some questions. Okay. I'll go over some other things. Okay, yeah. The only thing that I didn't go over is you can also nudge the playhead. So let's play our footage.
we've seen over the past year or so, during the course of the movement against Cop City, the protest movement against Cop City, that the police have been engaging in a deliberate campaign to demonize this particular protest movement.
Which is so true. So let's say, I want to be somewhat precise and it's a little hard to kind of click around. If I hit my arrow keys, as you can see, I can actually nudge the playhead. I'm nudging the playhead 1/10 of a second. And that is like the unit of time, excuse me, that Canva really measures in. So like if you watch me drag this, oh, that's interesting. There we go. It's tighter. Oh, that is so interesting and annoying. Why is it saying 10? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, interesting. I see. Because that clip was like multiple minutes long, it's not showing. Well, that's kind of irritating. Okay. But we're going to use this clip as an example. So as I'm dragging, you can see it's saying, okay, the clip is now 4.9 seconds long. It's 4.8. So it's going by 1/10 of a second. So one of the drawbacks of using Canva video as opposed to one of the other like programs that are out there that are like typically not free is this is a little less precise. So like in most video, you have 24 frames per second. You could also have 29.96. You can also have 30 frames per second. And as a video editor, like you really want to be able to have the control to edit frame by frame. It's funny though, because you can edit frame by frame. It's just it's not going to show you, hey, we're taking off a frame here and a frame here. It's only showing you as you're moving 1/10 of a second. So just to let you guys know, and I think that's super relevant, like for what we were doing earlier,
So our first speaker.
like taking out the at the beginning. I feel like a well-edited video is really differentiated from a poorly edited one when you have like that little extra, like if we had like
So our first.
if you have the in there, it's just super unnecessary.
So.
Or like if you only half took it out.
So our first speaker.
So it's just like trying to have the precision to.
So our first speaker.
So like even there, it's like you've still got a little bit of it left, and so like that's when editing frame by frame is really helpful.
So our first speaker today.
I think that's pretty good. So yeah, and so going back to like you being able to nudge this by 1/10 of a frame, again, it's just gonna like hopefully give you a bit more control. And then yeah, the very last thing I want to show you before maybe we have some questions is, and maybe this is a lot at once. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm sorry, guys. Hopefully this is not too much. But if you sometimes actually let me show you this in the next project because I think it'll only work if I do it in this other kind of format. Okay, let me just pause. I've been talking for less than 30 minutes. Is there any like questions so far? Also, I forgot to say this. In order to teach this class, I taught myself this program. So this is by no means like my native like video editing, project. So like and also I will say like the tool itself is like not the most sophisticated too. So anyways, with those caveats, do people have questions so far about what I'm showing them?
I had a question. So I noticed that you were like titling, like putting the title on each clip. When you cut it, does it save the previous title? Does that make sense?
Kind of. Do you mean like if I cut this here, does it save the previous title? Is that what
Right.
you mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, it does. It saves it on both.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you would just click in and change it. So, yeah. So yeah, that does mean kind of like part of the workflow is like as
This
you're
is not normal.
going, you would have to continuously sort of like change. You're like, oh, this is a different clip. Let me like change it to whatever it is. Yeah, that's it. Any other questions, y'all?
And Jamie had one in the chat around video speed.
Okay. There's so many things that are not urgent. I really appreciate that. How about the top? Ooh. Let's see actually. Let's see here. Okay.
Well, we've seen over the past year or so, during the course of the movement against Cop City, the protest movement against Cop City.
I think that's a really great observation. So yes, it'll change it. I think
Well, we've seen over the past year
please
movement against.
stop. Um, kind of what I'm looking for, because what it's doing is it's changing the speed of the clip itself or the page itself. Whereas I just want to change the speed that I can like watch it. But I think that's actually a really helpful tool to be able to review like in, 1.5 speed. Cool. Any other questions? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble looking at the chat. Wait, when I tested it, shorten the time and put these. Yeah. Yeah, I think it would export. That's kind of the idea that I'm getting from it. So yeah. Okay. So the next thing, I'm assuming folks don't have any other questions. Um, we are going to make another project, and I'll call it. Okay. I'll just adjust my window. Okay, and so also this is a really good example. Just once again, it's super confusing to open up a video project and it looks like this. Again, you got to hit pages down here to get this like timeline situation. So yeah, basically how I would edit video like this is I would hover over the clip that I want, hit Command C, or you can probably right click and hit Command or hit copy as well. And then just like an interesting thing is so with Canva video, anytime you want to add a video, like, so first of all, if you're copy and pasting, let's do this. If you have the playhead over this page, it's going to paste right after the page, which is interesting. So it's not like it's going to paste right where the playhead is. It's going to just like push it over. And then like if I were to do it here, it would paste it there. Um, because we're copy and pasting a page, it doesn't need its own page. But for example, if I go to all the videos I have, I gave you guys like just some stock footage to kind of like have something to play with. Um, if I click on this, it's going to automatically paste onto whatever page I have selected. Um, here we go. And yeah, something to understand about how this works that is a little confusing is you have to click on your asset in order to see its timing. So, let's try this. if you wanted to like expand, oh, let me see if I can hide. Okay, so I'll teach you something really quickly. If you have this view and you have this purple, so you can see essentially another layer on top of your page. And if you want to get out of that, you can right click and click hide element timing, and that'll go away. And then I should be able to, okay, and then I can expand it. And then it kind of, where is it? And then, okay, and then once again, if you don't have that and you're wondering where it is, you can right click and click show element timing. Um, yeah, I think that was all I kind of wanted to say about that. If you wanted to have like B-roll of this like city while he's talking, for example.
Is Marlon Katz from the Atlanta.
But yeah, anyways, that's just a little detour. And then once again, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're bringing something in from here, there needs to be a page selected for it to go live. We'll delete that. Um, and then there's a very specific issue that Canva video will have sometimes, and I'm gonna see if I can get it to do that because I just want you guys to know how to fix them.
Unarmed, nonviolent political protesters.
Okay. I actually, before this class, made a couple of these. And I think maybe I was able to do it here.
Unarmed, nonviolent political protesters.
I'll just try and explain it. And so if you do ever run into this issue, I'm not exactly sure why it happens sometimes and doesn't happen other times. So pulling this handle over here should just extend the clip, right? But what will happen sometimes is it'll actually repeat, like it'll keep the same like clip time as the original way you had it, and then it'll keep playing, and then it'll just loop like right here. And it's very frustrating. So if that does happen, go up here and click on the scissors.
And then again, the Atlanta.
And then you can extend it up here, and then you'll be able to have the rest of the video and work with it. I hope that made sense. If I get it to cause that error, then I'll show you guys. But it's something to be aware of because I think it's super confusing and would like really throw me off. Okay. So that's all I can teach you for that. And then I have this video that I pre-edited a bit. I'm just gonna go over some of this stuff. So one of the things that you can do in Canva video is you can add a transition from one clip to the next. So if you hover over in between two clips, you get, first of all, you get add page, and then you also get add transition. So I'm gonna click on add transition and like color white, for example. So like, close this for a second.
The Atlanta.
I would say that this is like one of the advantages, excuse me, of using Canva video over some other programs is it comes like basically with a bunch of motion graphics like pre-made. And so that's pretty slick. I'm gonna teach you guys how to do a particular transition that I feel like might be relevant to the types of media that you want to make. And it is the journalistic fade to white. So we're gonna see if it, and also for some reason, this particular thing keeps glitching when I play it. So we're gonna see if it's gonna work.
Political protesters. These people were.
Okay, so hopefully you caught that, right? It fades to white for a second. When journalistic institutions use that, really what they're trying to communicate is like, hey, we edited this, right? That's not always going to be relevant for social media because like most people should understand that that's what's happening. But I don't know. I think it's interesting to teach this because it really might be helpful somehow. Oops. Where do I click that? Over here. Okay. So the way I would do that, I would hover my playhead over the clip before where I want this transition, and then I would do another shortcut, which is Control Enter. Control Enter is to add a page. And so I got my page. I'm gonna make it really small, and this page is basically like it's all white, right? So that's why I'm using it. I'm gonna make it a tenth of a second. There we go. I'm gonna click on this. I'm either gonna hover between the two clips. For some reason, that's not working. So instead, I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna click on Change Transition. And okay, well, it already has it because it has this over here. Oh, actually, I think it's from when I was editing before. Well, you should have to choose it all over again, but you get what I'm trying to
Threatening
say.
anybody.
So it does that. And then also that's like kind of too long. So you kind of want to play with it and maybe make it a little shorter. Okay. So that's just one way to implement the transitions, but you got all sorts of stuff. You got this slide thing, you got this color wipe, it's glitching, trying to show it, which is not helpful. But let me see if I can.
Threatening anybody. They were sitting.
Okay. Yeah, so you got that. You got all sorts of fun stuff that you can do. So that's transitions. Okay, and then also audio. Just gonna talk about audio pretty briefly. So what I did to add this audio, I'm gonna delete it. I went to the top of my project. I went to my uploads. This is an important thing to note too. Like, if you go to your uploads and you're like, "Where's my videos?" It's under video. It's not under images. Go to audio, click on it, and it just automatically adds. Press play. It is extremely loud, so what you're gonna do is click on your audio, go over here to volume, and turn it down quite a bit.
Speaker today is Marlon Katz from the Atlanta Solidarity.
Oh man, that's not fun.
Atlanta Solidarity Fund.
So I just want to point out, I guess, that like you really can't audio edit with this program. So like typically what I would do, so basically what I'm building up to here is like this. I'm gonna have like a block of text here, and I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna make it. But I want it would be cool to like fade the video out. Or here, okay, so you would want the audio of your music to be lower when someone's speaking, and then you want it to go up when there's like a moment of silence or there's B-roll. And that's called audio ducking. And you from even with like trying to experiment and try and find a workaround, I don't think you can really do that in Canva video. So it's just something to know. You basically can just only like turn up the volume, turn down the volume, and then at the end of the volume clip, you can fade it out. And at the beginning, you can fade it in. And I was trying to find a workaround where, okay, well, if I cut up the clips and then I fade in and fade out, but it just doesn't work. Anyways, but just so you know, it's kind of hard to have control over audio with Canva video editor. And then something you can also do is you can extract your audio. So if I wanted to like, here, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Let's see. Right click, click extract audio, which is also Shift Command E apparently. And so this is the audio of oh my God, what did I just say? Lordy, the audio is me speaking. And if I wanted to like extend it so you can hear him continue to talk, or like if I don't know, if I wanted to like pull it over here so I can hear it on top of this. Okay. Hello, please
Our
play.
first speaker today is Marlon Katz.
So you can do that, but I'm gonna say it's like it gets really tricky and it's very easy to get your audio out of sync when you start doing stuff like that. But just so you know, that is something that you can do. And then After that, I want to teach you guys how to do motion graphics, but I'm just gonna, are there any other questions about anything so far? Let me check. Yeah. Are there transitions that you could use to fade into out of B-roll? Definitely. Yeah. So if we wanted to, I'm just trying to think of like what might be the thing that I would want to use. When it comes to like motion graphics, it's such a creative process. Um, that just comes down to taste. And the way that I would recommend getting good at editing the types of videos that you want to edit is just to watch a lot of them. So I can send like quite a few of those videos in the style that you guys want. And so just watching them and honestly just like copying and putting it into like what you want. Like
I came here.
I really hate that it automatically plays, but let's I would really experiment with.
To stop Cop City.
Also, this is something that's important to note too. There are two different versions of play in Canva. So like watch
In trees.
when I hit play now,
In trees.
the playhead is moving. If I hit play, I click on this and if I click on this and I hit
I
play,
came here to stop Cop City.
it's kind of like you're just watching the video in the page, but as you can see down here, the playhead didn't move at all. And also as you can hear, like the music that we put on the footage isn't playing. So anyways, I just want to clarify that because that can be a bit confusing. Like you're like, I'm hitting play, but all the things I was doing like didn't save. It's because there's two different types of play. So you're gonna want to hit this play button primarily. Anyways, I'm sorry, I got distracted and I didn't quite answer the question. But like if you wanted to like fade into using this footage, I would just kind of honestly experiment around and see. I'm trying to think. I feel like dissolve is like the best. I don't know.
Cop City.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't use transitions a ton, and I think they can be pretty distracting. I would use them very selectively. That's what I'll say. I keep losing where the chat is. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, okay, we're trying to put this over here. Okay, cool. So I'm trying to think of I maybe before I go into motion graphics, just because we have a bit of time, like I want to talk a little bit about like the eye of a video editor, like and specifically for social media, like yeah, I know that everybody knows this intuitively, but like people have a very short attention span on social media, and like anything that lags is gonna turn people off. So like for example, also I want to note that like everything in this video editor is a ripple edit. In a program like Premiere Pro, that's a very specific tool that you can use. But like by ripple editing, I mean like if I extend this video here, it's gonna like push all these other videos back. If I delete this video, all these other videos automatically move. Whereas in a different video editor, everything would just like hold its place unless you told it specifically that you wanted it to move. And that can make editing a little bit tricky. So just be aware of that. So anyways, you know, like, and I guess I'm just saying, like, because I see a lot of like rookie editors do stuff like this. Like,
So our first speaker today is Marlon Katz from the Atlanta Solidarity Fund.
So I'm here to speak about
So like, you know, actually, hold on, let me play the rest of it.
a very particular thing that to speak about.
Hold on.
So I'm here to speak about one very particular thing that happened yesterday that our organization is very concerned about. The Atlanta Police Department is using plastic bullets and pepper spray.
So again, looking at this as an editor and especially looking at it as an editor for social media, like,
Fight.
this moment where Kamau Franklin steps away from like the mic, we don't need that, and it's just gonna add lag.
Fight.
Right there is where I'd add an edit. And then
So I'm here to speak about one very particular thing that happened yesterday that our organization is very concerned about.
that statement is like totally basically redundant and like not helpful at all. And it would be way better to just cut immediately to the action of, the Atlanta Police Department is using, rubber bullets on protesters. And so like that's the sort of stuff you want to edit out and like, yeah, again, I just say it because when I see social media stuff edited with that stuff still in there, it really lags. And yeah, there's some other tips for social media too. One thing you may notice that when you like are scrolling on Instagram and you have your like For You page, I know that's the term for TikTok, I can't remember what it is for Instagram, but if you have like a reel pop up on that page, and if you click into it, you might notice that the video actually expands and like you actually lose a bit of the video off of the sides. As someone who posts to Instagram like every week for work, it's definitely something I've noticed. So I created and I just added this an hour ago or so to your Google Drive link, but this is a overlay that I created to just act as a guide to show me like if I were to upload this to Instagram, I know that everything in the red is going to get cut off. And it's super helpful like when you're adding titles and stuff like that. And also when you're trying to censor stuff to just have that. And then you can kind of just like pull it over your videos and like
Atlanta
play and see what gets lost. And then another thing that I would actually be very down to do for dissenters, I didn't want to send you guys the one I have for like my work, but I also created an overlay that shows the Instagram overlay. Let's see, I didn't quite do it right. But yeah, basically this is going to be really helpful to understand, especially when I get into like talking to you guys about captions. Like, you don't want your captions to be too low because it's going to get caught up in your other caption for like Instagram, and then you might not want to have something over here because it's going to get caught up in your likes and comments and all that sort of stuff. So I can actually create that little template for you guys too. I find those to be really helpful tools as I go around editing for social media. And then now I think I'm trying to think of what else I can go over. I'm gonna jump into like motion graphics. So motion graphics is graphics in motion, y'all. Like any sort of text that you add an animation to, and among other things too. I mean, you can add like with Canva Video, they have a bunch of like preset stuff like stickers and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of where they have all the like GIFs and stuff. Oh, also, in terms of like stock music, if you do want to pay for Canva Video, it's $10 a month. I think they might want like their yearly charge up front or whatever, but it comes with a bunch of stock music and yeah, and that's like a whole process in and of itself is trying to find the right like tone for the video you're making. But I did also find this website where you can get stuff for free, and I think they just want you to credit people when you use the music. And so I was looking on there. There's actually other websites that have like stock music for free as well, but it is really nice that Canva has it built in. Uh, okay. So if you want to add, bye, thank you for joining us. If you would like to add some text, I created some copy before this class about this. So I'm gonna like copy and paste this onto here. And the trick to doing motion graphics, I'm speaking as someone who does motion graphics like professionally for brands and stuff like that. I use After Effects for it. You basically just look at someone else's motion graphics and then you just say, I could do that. And then you just kind of recreate it. There's not like a very rigorous way. It's a very creative like process. And so like I'm gonna just show you how I would do it for this. So there's and so like basically they have pre-made like animations and then I would just get creative and like combine it. Yeah. Also, I want to add this to this. Oh, yeah, no. I want to add this to this page, so I'm gonna cut and then paste it here. Okay. So when you click on your element, you're gonna see animate. I think actually first, one thing I want to go over is like it can be really confusing when you start adding layers like this. And sometimes you're gonna need to like hide a layer. As far as I know, I might be wrong about this, but as far as I know, you can't hide a layer in Canva. But what you can do is you can do something sneaky, which is, oh man, how to attach this. You can put your, fix this. You can hide your layer underneath another layer. So that like that effectively hides the text. So if for whatever reason you're getting confused with all the stuff that you have going on, you can like put something underneath your background and that should like take care of that. Okay, there's a little trick there. Click on your text, go to animate. I also want to say like in terms of motion graphic design, like less is really more, like I mean I guess that's cool. It's kind of cool. Um you yeah, you don't want to like go to some of these are kind of cool, honestly. But the motion graphics should really be like a supporting character in like whatever you're trying to do. And honestly, I think most of what you want to do is like this one is like a really good one. Or like this one's a really good one, stuff like that. So I'm trying to remember how I designed this before. It's kind of cool, but I think that's pretty good. So I know that this is like a course where I'm trying to show you guys how to edit something for free. But I will say like something that's really cool about like paying for Canva is you can choose like to do it by line, for example. So like, okay, so like going by character, it's gonna like add each of these in by character. This is adding it by word. This is adding it by line. And I think like the by line one makes more sense, but I think that I'm not allowed to do it because I have to pay for it. So yeah, you can't choose your direction. Unfortunately, I think you can't choose your speed. You can choose if it does it on enter, on exit, or both. But yeah, but we're gonna work with what we got. Okay. So this is what I would add first. Second of all, go to elements, use a square. I'm gonna make my timeline smaller because I really want to zoom in here and like work with this. This is also kind of like a graphic thing of here, I'll show you guys. Let's use black. We're gonna click position so we can choose where a layer goes. We're gonna add it underneath. This side was just too big. Okay. Center it. And then I think it looks slicker to take the opacity down like this. And instead of having it like be fully black like that. And then what I would do, what I'm actually doing is I'm recreating the motion graphic that I had in the original video that I edited. So just like shows the process a little bit. I'm gonna hit Command C to copy this box. And then I'm gonna hit Command Shift V, which I think, nope, didn't do anything. Oh man, wait, I think, please, please. Oh God, no. Okay. Okay. So typically in other programs, what you can do is hit Command Shift V, and holding down Shift means I want it to paste in the exact same spot where I have the original thing. But you know what? I don't think Canva is about that life. So we're gonna have to nudge it back into place because as you can see, this thing pasted a little off. And the thing that I was trying to do, I was trying to duplicate it. Okay, I'm gonna show you what I'm trying to do. I'm show you what I'm trying to do. So for this second box, I'm gonna add a stroke, and then I'm gonna make the stroke green. I think it needs to be bigger. Okay, so bear with me, y'all. So try and get a little more real estate so I can. Okay, so what I'm doing now, please, no, hold on. No. Okay, come on now. Okay, what I was trying to do is I was trying to nudge it using the arrow keys, but it was being kind of annoying about that. So I just wanted to have this like separate. Basically, the reason why I created two layers is because I wanted to have this uh half opaque element, and then I wanted this like outline to be fully opaque, and then I'm gonna take away the center part, and then oh, man, I hate how it looks. So I'm just gonna edit this a little bit like this, and then I'm gonna go put this underneath. And I'm gonna actually that could probably stay right there. Never mind. And then you can also animate these sorts of elements too. So this one, I yeah, I kind of like that one actually. Or I was thinking, let's try this. We're gonna try rise. And then we're gonna go here, go here, go here. We're gonna try rise again. So let me see. I mean,
The Atlanta Police Department.
so that's the final product. I think I would change the timing.
The
I think I would change the timing a little bit because because the box seems to come on a little too soon. Oh man, let's see. So we're gonna do it at 6.6. I'm gonna choose the other box and then click down here and then try and get these to line up. Well, let's see.
Pretty fun.
the Atlanta Police Department
Oh
is
no, no.
using.
Okay. It's getting there. I would like mess with the timing even more and try and get it to like
It's a
my
solidarity
taste.
fund.
The Atlanta Police Department
And then it doesn't help that the program is glitching a little bit. You said, yeah, Command Shift V is really helpful. It works in Adobe. Jamie to address your comment. But anyways, so basically, like even though this is something that's not like it doesn't come pre-made with Canva, you can create your own like motion graphics by doing creative stuff like this. And then I'm going to teach you guys. Do people have questions just about that before I try and teach you a different little thing?
And you
Oh,
grabbed the frame from like the elements, right? Like it wasn't connected to the text originally, you just made it all work.
yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. A big thing that you're probably going to be making all the time is lower thirds. Lower third is another name. Ooh, unrelated question, but let's find out what it is. Okay, yes, and we're going to do captions at the end. Um, and there's two ways. That's my sneak preview of that. A lower third is like essentially your title for a person. So if you're trying to intro a person, you have a lower third. So let me show you how I will build a lower third for Marlin and Cats. So I would type this out. So, okay, well, the very first thing is hovering this arrowhead, the playhead rather, over the page that I want to add it onto, and then clicking text. And then you get it here. I'm just gonna adjust a little bit. And oh, and they're called lower thirds because you put them in the lower third of the image. Okay. Now this is flashing with the microphone. So there's actually hmm, hmm. Since we have enough time, I might teach you guys a little trick about that. Because what well, I don't know if what I could maybe do is actually this animation thing that I just taught you guys, where I would add. Well, there's actually okay. Let me show you. No, let me show you the way to do it by hand. Okay, let's add this little box. Let's actually make it black, but then let's also do this thing where we bring down the transparency, and then I would add a little animation that I think it's not exactly right. Yeah, the wipe. Okay, I'd add the wipe, and then this is the other thing I'd add. I go to elements. I find a line. Hey, I would increase the stroke of this line, and I put under here. The tricky thing about lines in Canva, I don't know if people have no, I'm going to teach you guys a couple of things about this. Number one, if you do this, like if you do this, the line, oh, God, it's not doing it. Basically, sometimes your line will get attached to like different elements. This is what I'm talking about. This is very frustrating. I don't find this helpful at all. If you want to fix it, you just grab the edge of the line and then you pull it off. If you want to make sure that your line is straight, as you can see, this one is not, hold shift and then it'll all automatically make it straight as you're like trying to resize it. So then I make it the same size as this. I go to animate. I go to not pan but white. Yeah. And then I would personally, I would do, yeah, I think that looks cool. Okay, hold on. Let's go to the front of it. It's so zoomed in. I'm like, am I in love with it or do I just kind of like it? Let's see. I think that's a pretty decent, like, little lower third motion graphic animation that you can add to your video. Um, okay. So that's just an overview and motion graphic kind of like principles. Um, and like as an actual motion editor, like, I would get way more specific. I honestly like what Canva is doing is really pretty decent, but like speed is something I would mess with, and all these different like things are things I'd mess with. But again, I would also like try and be understated. And also you want to think about tone. So like this, I'm trying to, like this, it's a little too goofy. There's also one that's like that one is maybe not fit for the tone of the video. So those are some things to think about. If people don't have any other questions about that, I can talk about captions. Skate looks like that would be, yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's Reverend Matthew Johnson giving a speech. Okay. So there are a couple ways to do captions in Canva, and the longer your video is, just like the more of a headache it's going to be. So you go to text, go to dynamic text, click on captions, and then it's going to like, okay, it's going to ask you which ones to do. So choose the ones that are relevant and then click generate captions. And hopefully it'll actually do it. Enjoy these moments of calming silence as we gather all the right words for you. Hmm. Thanks, Canva. And then I said, you know what? Fuck that. We're not even going to do it. This is what I was running into earlier. And then, so, for the purposes of this class, I'm just going to delete some of the videos so that I'll have less to work with and see if that's going to like, okay. And so now I think it did do it. Wait. Mhm.
How do we fully cut the videos or like I guess mine is like I squeezed it down, but it's still registering as 11 minutes long. I feel like I missed the step.
I feel like you might have to like share your screen because this is what I'm guessing. You might have a page at the end and it's white and it's blank, so you can't see it. But maybe that's like making it super long.
Let's see.
It also might be that you're not zoomed out enough in your timeline to see. So I'll explain one thing is like, because this video is like really short, this is only 30 seconds long, I can actually see the entire thing. But for some of the videos that are super long, you'll just see this and it won't let you zoom out all the way, which is really frustrating. So it might be that, oh, and this is actually another thing I kind of forgot to mention. So and this is a little confusing. I don't know if it's because of my browser, but like if you hover over here, sometimes if you do it and sometimes if you don't, you should get a scroll bar. Ah, there she is. Okay. And so it'll help you scroll from side to side. Like I said, like sometimes I'll see it and sometimes I won't. So it's like really frustrating. You can also use the trackpad or you can use like scroll to scroll.
First speaker
Do you
today is Paul.
do you think that's you're not able to see the whole project and that's why?
Nah, or like it's the page that like I shrunk down, like it's still like registering as 12 like minutes, even though if I actually play it, it's only the amount that I actually put. So it's only like 4 seconds of the 12 pages. But when I go to the caption, it still says like 11:40, if that makes sense.
It
Oh,
does make
it
sense.
suddenly
Go
works.
ahead.
Never mind, I guess. Doesn't matter. Um,
Oh, no, I honestly think the problem is you might need to refresh because I think it can be a little glitchy. It's a pretty glitchy program.
makes sense. But it's working now. So.
Okay, okay. Did it change how long it says it is?
Let me reload it and see if that works. And the time length only came up when I was like putting the caption in when it says like the three video.
Oh,
So maybe it just means nothing. Um,
so you're saying when you hover over here, it says it, but you're saying with the captions, it was saying how long it was?
Is Paul in back?
yeah, like when you have like yeah, the drop down of the three, like select all suitable videos, it'll be like the time stamp still represents the entire length, but it doesn't seem to matter anymore. I just was concerned that was why my caption wasn't working, but now it is.
That's
Today
cool.
is Paul in
I,
back.
Okay.
I actually think it's honestly very possible that it is creating captions for the entire video. I'm
Mhm.
only saying that I'm only saying that because that's how Premiere Pro will work sometimes. But it also could be showing you that because it's like, hey, this is that 12-minute video that you wanted to caption. Because some of your videos might look like extremely alike, and like the only thing to differentiate them is like how long they are. And so that might be why it's doing it, but I actually don't know for sure. I think it's only captioning the amount of video you have in here because I have noticed that like if I make a shorter video, it seems to get the captions to work. Are other people's captions? So you said your captions are working? Okay. Are other people's? It's Lolly and Jane. Are your captions working? Also it's okay if you're not following along, but
I have not been following on my Canva just because it's easier for me to like learn by observing, but I can try right now.
it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, I do want to say that I think Canva video can be a good option if you want to edit something for free. And I think the built-in motion graphics are pretty nice because you wouldn't get that with Premiere Pro. It doesn't have built-in stuff that's all automatically animated. You have to do it all manually. But I mean, it really is meant to be like a graphic design tool that they kind of built this like video editing infrastructure on top of. And also, a bunch of the ways that it works are like not at all how your nonlinear editor works too. Because I think I was saying like everything is a ripple edit. And so like programs like CapCut and TikTok they all do that thing where it's like if you delete it, everything kind of like smushes over. And yeah, I think that gives you a lot less control. And then I think also the fact that it's like an online tool creates an issue too, because then it like has to do with your Wi-Fi and your connection. Again, like it's totally usable. It's just if people get frustrated as you're video editing, I just want you to know you're like super valid for that. Okay, so I just stopped it and restarted it, and now I've got captions. So this is how you do it. Now you should have a little thing that says captions down here. Oh, hold on now. Never mind. You click on your caption, then go to captions up here. And then, oh, I see. That's why it made three of them. That's why it's taking so long. Okay, so come back. Okay. Now, see, now I'm gonna have to delete all these extra fragments. Jesus Christ. Wait, is that how my thing is edited? That it just says the whole? Maybe it is, because I was gonna stop it. Hold on. This is how the video looks so far, y'all. Okay, it's glitching. When it does that, when it shows you like both views, if you just click on it, it'll behave again.
Our first speaker today is Marlon Katz from the Atlanta Solidarity.
The Atlanta
Okay, hold on. Gotta fix that. And then also, I click on this, and do this.
Solidarity Fund.
In fact, that also means that I'm going to have to go to these captions on page 2. Okay.
So our first speaker today is Marlon Katz from the Atlanta Solidarity Fund.
Oh, I see. That was the one that got the audio turned off.
The Atlanta Police Department is using plastic bullets and pepper spray against unarmed.
I see. Oh yeah, I was just throwing stuff onto this timeline. Okay, but you're starting to get the idea. And so like, you'd want to move these captions away from here. And then going back to what I was saying about having this little like overlay, this Instagram overlay is really helpful for when you're adding captions because you want to make sure that your lower third and your captions don't get in the way of what's going on here. And then if you pull
Atlanta Police Department is using
and so when you pull one caption into a different spot, it's actually moving all your captions. So one of the tricky things about captioning using one of these like new age video editors, once again, like this, like CapCut, like TikTok, is when you edit your video, it really doesn't let you it just overall it doesn't let you change the timing of your caption. So let's look at it. Like
spray against unarmed, nonviolent political protesters.
okay, so like yeah.
Armed, nonviolent political protesters. The Atlanta Police Department is using.
Okay. Actually, I think it was wrong. Also, I don't think it's moving all of the captions up, but for some reason it moved those two up, but then the other one's not up. Okay. Maybe. Anyways, just I want to get to it from hold on. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna see. Oh, wait a second. Yeah. So I don't think you can change the timing of a caption. So that becomes very relevant if you wanted to like break up captions. Like if you, for example, if you wanted to make all this much bigger, well, okay. You wanted to make it okay. I don't know what that mystery box is, but if you wanted to make these bigger, um, put on captions. Oh. Oh, I see, I see, I see. Okay. Okay, I see. Anyways, that's actually really confused. So first of all, it's just, yes, typically in these new age video editors, they don't give you a lot of control of the captions. So for example, if I wanted to separate these into two different captions, like it's not letting me do it. But I think maybe if duplicate, aha! But then it duplicated a bunch of stuff. Anyways, I will say I did not do the deepest dive into their captions, but the vibe I'm getting, for example, one of the things I tried is I right click this to look at show timing, right? Because for like, if you add a different thing, you can click on it and now it's like showing the timing here. And then if it's like not, you right clicking, you go to this option. But it's not doing that for captions, which is giving me the impression that you can't do it. So the second way to do captions is to do them by hand, by adding text to each page. And I'm totally just speaking as a video editor, and I do this all the time for work. I love being very precise with my captions, and I want it to like match the timing of the speaker and the da da da. If for your purposes that's too much, that's totally fine. But I'm just saying it is an option. And then so like basically what you do is you would like change the timing of them down here and stuff like that. So it would be more involved, but I'm just saying that's like an option. Yes, you love it.
Another option for adding captions, I think is if you go to apps on the side panel, right there at the bottom, and then look up captions, and there should be an app for captions that does it like a different way than the one we were trying to think. I use the one with the gradient, the yellow and pink gradient is the one I've used. All the way to the right at the
Oh,
top.
this guy.
Mhm.
And this is free?
I believe.
Word. Period. That's awesome. And so does it help you like control like the timing of it more?
The timing, I think what I know it does, it allows you to say like how many lines you want the captions to be, or what, but I don't know about timing.
Okay. That's an improvement though. That's really helpful. Thank you. Cool. And then I do just want to say, again, speaking in terms of like social media, like adding captions is pretty essential. Like it's great for accessibility, and it's also just like not everybody has like their earbuds, hooked up to their phone. And like if your video doesn't have captions, they might scroll past it. So like that's why I add captions to everything. Um, yeah. And that's all I have in terms of teaching this tool. And then I want to just talk about video editing more broadly. And like maybe we could talk a little bit about social media strategy, but any final questions about how to use this program? Oh, the last thing actually I will say, there's one video editing class I could find on it on YouTube that was really I mean it's kind of helpful, but it's basically everything you just learned right now. And you definitely got more out of this than like that video. But if you want stuff that's maybe a little more in depth, Skillshare has some pretty good versions on there. You do have to pay for Skillshare. I mean, you can get a free trial for sure. But um, if you just want to go even deeper into this tool, although I will say, like, from what I've seen, most people are not, there's not too much deeper to go with this. And I feel like what this is designed for mostly is for like a quote, like a dramatic quote written in cursive, and then like video of like a field blowing behind it. Like it's kind of more like for very basic stuff. And you can use it to video edit. So yeah. But anyways, any final questions about anything we learned today? Let me see. Oh, the chat. Oh, I didn't catch up. Okay. Yeah. 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 People talking about the captions.
Are there
Mm.
any other video editing software that like you've used that are free and closer to like Premiere or like other things that are more precise?
Yes. Yes. I'll use your question to kind of launch into the last thing I wanted to talk about, which is like video editing is a craft, and like you can get really good at it. You can get good at it for many different reasons. Artistic expression, you can get good at it as a propagandist, and also like learning the skill yourself is a really good way to work in an industry that pays you closer to a living wage. And that's something I definitely would recommend in terms of like different programs that you can use, specifically one that's free and that's closer to like that is a nonlinear video editor. Nonlinear video editor meaning it's different from how film was edited before, where it's destructive. I'm like, is this too pedantic or whatever? But like, whatever, a hardy video editor, I think is what I'm trying to say. The closest thing that you have is DaVinci Resolve. That is like a really excellent program to teach yourself. It is free. They have like a paid version, but you can use the free version very well. And if you are trying to like enter into an industry, that is definitely not a program that any video editor would like turn their nose up at. Like, even though it's free, it is like well respected. It's mostly used by color editors. I did not want to teach a course in that. That one of the options was to teach a course in that, and I was a little too intimidated because it is such a sophisticated program that like to teach myself it in like 4 weeks, I like really and teach it well enough to teach other people. I was like, I don't really know if I can do that. But YouTube, Skillshare, you can definitely teach yourself that program doing that. And honestly, yeah, like it'd be worth putting the time in if you're thinking about ever doing this again, like as a way of like paying for rent. Personally, I would recommend Premiere Pro. It's industry standard for especially like cool, Jamie. It's industry standard for short form content, so like 5 minutes or less. So working in commercials, like there's a huge commercial industry in Chicago. a lot of post-production houses that cater to that. It would be great for like editing music videos. It's great for doing social media for work, and it integrates with Photoshop and Illustrator and After Effects. So like often I'll like Photoshop an image, like I'll take the background out of an image, put it in After Effects to animate it, and then put it into Premiere Pro to like do whatever little motion graphic thing I was trying to do. I think it's a great option. If you wanted to move into doing documentaries, which feels like it might be relevant for folks' interests, I'd recommend learning Avid. Avid is great for like long form in general. I think maybe even like other films are like edited on Avid. Um, it is a little bit like you got to choose your fighter because each of these is like so different and operates so differently that it's a bit hard to like have more than one of them under your belt. And then I guess you could learn Final Cut. I don't know who uses that. It's not, I have quite a bit of distaste for it, but I think somebody in one of these industries uses it. And then yeah, I mean, video editing is like super important to get like our propaganda out. Like and just like media in general that is like very well curated. Like the Occupy Wall Street movement was really kicked off by this flyer that I actually pulled up earlier. Oh no, I lost it. Um, and it this yeah, the ballerina one, yeah. So there's this, and it was also like a web page, just explaining kind of the ethos of what people are looking for. And so it's like this was made by people who worked in the ad industry who were working on this other website called Adbusters, which was like anti-capitalist advertising and stuff like that. So even though it's kind of corny to work and like make commercials and stuff like that, it actually does give you some really good tools that you can use for propaganda. So, and for mobilizing people. So that's pretty much all I got. And if people have questions, if I'm very skilled, like I said, I use Adobe Suite. So Premiere Pro, Photoshop, and Illustrator, and InDesign and After Effects. So if people have questions about like teaching yourself that, I can actually like be pretty knowledgeable about that. If people have questions about working as a freelance video editor, I can answer questions about that. Just anyone in Dissenters, also if you're watching the recording, you can reach out. Um, and also, if you just need someone to consult on like a video that you're making for social media too, you can certainly reach out to me as well. But is an associate's degree in video production worth it? And no, it's not. Because they really just want experience, and you can get experience like by just working on sets. If you're saying video production, which is like working on sets, I would recommend knowing somebody, unfortunately, and then like getting experience on sets. Yeah, 100%, like 110% over that. How does doing this professionally look nowadays with AI? Um, so number one, like there's AI that's always been integrated into like a lot of Adobe programs. Like Photoshop has this thing where you can extend a background. So like actually like how I'm sitting is like perfect. Like a photo of a person with like a blank background. If you wanted to just make the background bigger, you can like do this little, it's a tool in there. And there's other like AI tools like select and mask. Like you can automatically select like a person and like so like a lot of that is like AI, but it's so different now with generative AI, and it is really fucking annoying that all of these tools like are integrating generative AI and blah blah blah. Anyways, I will say it's kind of complicated because some automation is actually making it easier for freelancers, and I'll just speak to I edit a podcast for work and I get a project fee. I get a flat project fee that's like like a nice little chunk of money. And I can also, if people are curious, like at a later time, I can talk about like how to negotiate rates and stuff because that's like a really tricky thing about being a freelancer. But anyways, um, it's not generative AI, but I use this program that automatically cuts the whole hour-long video for me, and then I go in and like do a finer cut and make a lot of other creative decisions. And because I'm using that program, it's actually saving me like at least 5 to 10 hours of work. And so I'm actually making more money by using this automation because I'm cutting down on the amount of time it's taking. And I will say it's also not, like I said, generative AI. It's not like the AI is like, well, I think artistically. What it's doing is every time someone speaks on their track, it just cuts to whoever's where it hears sound. So, anyways, it's just hard. Yeah, I don't know. All I'd say is like there's a lot of AI. There's also like, stuff that auto transcription and stuff like that that also like makes people's lives easier. But I think it's tempting to maybe have someone replace, like use the auto editor thing that I'm talking about, like to use it to replace me. But so far it can't do that. It's not good enough to do that. But we'll see. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, thanks for entertaining that question.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, air is fucked and it is destroying the planet. And again, specifically like the I heard somebody call it like language simulator or something like the language like chat GPT and all those things. Those are really, and dude, fucking Grok is fucking wreaking havoc on that one, what is it, like Missouri town? I can't remember, Mississippi, I think. Like that, yeah, that shit is very bad. And also automation has always been used, but I just think automation is like different from this stuff that's like you're typing in, I want to see a gorilla eating pizza, and then it's so. Would anybody be interested in pursuing like video editing or any sort of like media thing? Or do people feel like you're mostly going to implement it as like organizers? And what do you see the value of that in? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're
Or
good.
like, are you?
Oh, I think sorry to interrupt, but yeah, I think right now, like, I don't know professionally, but just implementing it more. I do like comms work for an org, so I think even that like is just helpful just to do more like have more practice in it. But I think yeah, video editing's a good skill and like to have it to be able to yeah, like just video in general is a very like powerful tool too.
I, oh man, wait. I'm gonna throw a little bit of, wait, can we? Actually, it's fine to be in the recording, but like, I love this organization that I'm about to name. Oh my God. Wait, turn off the recording. I'm embarrassed because but I do think it's a problem. What would I say? Hello again. So the thing that I would add is like context is super important for social media. So like I would do like I would put this at the top. Let's see. I can't use that. I don't know what to add. But like, and I would probably make this smaller. And then I would put this at like the top of the whole video. I'm sure you guys have seen this on social media, but it's just like people kind of need to know exactly what they're gonna get as soon as they click on the video. You can also do your hook with the captions too. So like this, the way this is currently edited is not for this because like this is just like I said, Kamau Franklin is just introducing Marlon. That's not intriguing at all. But like if we started like
The Atlanta Police Department is using plastic bullets and pepper spray against.
like that might be enough of a hook that if you just had the captions of him saying that, somebody watching that might be like, oh shit, the Atlanta police are doing what? And so like I've seen it work really well both ways with like people using this sort of thing or having just like a good hook within the video is really important. And then it's just, yeah, you just want to like, and then and just context is just like everything. Like you can also explain. I also I talk about Instagram a lot because that's the one I use. I also love TikTok. I'm not as like experienced like editing for TikTok. It's kind of different in some ways, but like anyways, you can explain a lot in your Instagram caption as well. But like it's one of the simplest things I see people mess up on social media all the time is just like people are like, what am I even watching? Or like, what is this, these photos? What are these photo slides? And like just making sure people understand all of that is gonna like get you more engagement. And captions help with that too. And then I don't know. I do this for work and I like, you know, I'm trying to build a brand because it's my job. It's for a good cause too. Like I said, we make abolitionist media, but like the more you post, the more traction your stuff is going to get to. So don't worry if like the first thing doesn't work. Another thing, just people might already know this because this has been around for a while, but like on Instagram, you can collaborate now. So like if you post before you post, you can tag people, but you can also collaborate with people. And so that basically invites that person to also post it to their feed and to their followers. And that's one of the ways you're going to get the most amount of engagement. Is just consistently doing that. I feel like you guys might, I mean, but I'm trying to think of what else for social media that I use every day. Mm. And then also like again, a lot of this comes down to just like watching content that does really well and just trying to copy them and figure out what they're doing. Um, and even create like a little save folder in Instagram for like inspiration for your social media content. I'm not entirely sure like what actually I didn't ask this at the beginning and I should have. Like what are some of Dissenters like goals overall? Like are you trying to build like a following? Are you trying to just do one-off videos?
Yeah, I think we're still trying to figure it out. I think the one thing we've landed is doing like mini documentaries to capture different campaigns that students have done, just so we can like get like spread the word out there past like people reading our newsletter or already following on Instagram.
I think that's really ambitious and also like really, really needed. Like to have documentaries. And I am gonna just tell you right now, okay, I didn't realize that was part of it. This tool will be very bad for that. I don't think it'll hold up to that. You can probably do some basic stuff in here, but like if people want more, um, like if you, for example, if you guys were wanted to use Premiere Pro, I could definitely consult better on that and stuff like that. That's really cool though. Honestly, I'm really glad that you guys are like pushing for that. And I'm reading the comments. Right. Yeah. Ah, that's so funny. Yeah. And then hashtags. So there's like a tool that I use called IQ hashtags that for some reason is extremely slow. Like it's a website and it's the slowest website. Jesus. Anyways, but like type in a hashtag, it'll show you a bunch of related hashtags. It'll also show you how many people are using that hashtag and also the competition for the hashtag. Like, let me actually just pull it up. Oops. Oh man, I think I got a login. Hold on. Oh no, I am logged in. I hate it when it does that. Everything about it's so glitchy. But like, So it'll show you all these different like related hashtags to free Palestine. And so like this is showing you that the competition for this hashtag is really high. And so like I would still include it because I think it'll reach a lot of people, but it's also saying that like your stuff is going to get drowned out by a bunch of other content. So like it'd be interesting to find one like this one where your potential reach maybe is not as much, but there's not as much competition. So if you hashtag your post with that, you might get more views. And I noticed that a lot of creators use hashtags still. There's debate on Instagram about whether hashtags work or keywords work. And so keywords are just putting words in your caption. Um, yeah, that's a whole other thing is like social media strategy. Because there's tons of videos to watch and try and understand about that. I would say for Instagram, just posting like a couple times a week. Luckily, you don't have to post like every day. But yeah, I'm trying to think about like how long do you guys want your documentaries to be?
Probably like 4 to 5 minutes, like very mini documentary. That's why I figured this would be okay. Um, to like combine basic clips together, people like speaking or like not like, like interviews and stuff like that. Yeah, like
Totally. I think you're right. I think for that length, you might be able to do it in Canva video. And that's really cool. And that's also like talking about reach. That's definitely something I would post like more than once to socials and try and get it as much traction as possible. But yeah, I think yeah, we need more movement media just overall.
Yeah, another thing I did want to do is like I created a podcast like 6 years ago that I've been trying to turn into video since it's like mainly about visual media and like analysis around it. And it makes sense to be a visual media like in itself. So I wasn't sure. I guess I'm imagining like each episode is like 20 minutes long, so maybe Canva isn't the route. I've just been getting like super intimidated trying to do it in Premiere. Just like, yeah, I don't know why actually.
Well, it's kind of intimidating. I mean, it's I've been using Premiere for like over 8 years, and I'm actually still learning how to use the tool. Like there's like different things I learned about it like here and there, and it's just because it's so sophisticated, which is really cool because it means you have a lot of control over what you're doing. Like you can be really precise, you can use all these different tools. But it's a lot to jump into. But if you want help with that, I can definitely help you. I can explain Premiere like if you want help on resources on how to learn it, if you want me to answer questions about it, I got you, man.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'll keep you posted on it. I mean, I've done some stuff with Premiere and made some like short movies and stuff. I guess what it has been maybe the more intimidating part is like gathering. Like I'm used to working with like like I'll get like 100 raw clips that I've shot myself and then can work with that in Premiere more easily. I guess I don't know why I'm more intimidated by like, and that's, like that's like a 4 to 5 minute video versus like extracting clips and different things from all over the internet to make kind of like a more like, I don't know, what are the things like video essay type thing
I
on
was
YouTube.
gonna say.
Like I don't know what my mental block is aside from like Premiere. And I grew up on Photoshop, so I figured Premiere would be like, you know, feeling like home. But yeah, it hasn't felt like that with the longer stuff.
There's a lot of competition for video essays, and it's like people be putting in work on those. And as a video editor, when I watch them, I'm like, I know how much fucking time it took to like not only sort because you have to source the clips, and like that's like an art form in and of it, or not an art form, but it's just like the amount of time it takes to just find all the clips, and you're not even going to use every clip that you find. So it's just like that in and of itself just takes up a lot of time. Putting them in the right place, like all of it. No, I think it's fair that you're intimidated by it because that is like a pretty big undertaking. honestly.
Makes me feel better. Yeah, part of it is that I've already done all of that for like Adobe Audition already in terms of like grabbing audio clips from different places, and like music and all that, like cutting and editing. It feels like just doing the whole thing over again, which makes sense. That's literally what it is, except more complicated it feels. So it might just be literally the intimidation of the amount of time it's actually going to take to do this.
Like when I edit the podcast episodes that are like an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, it takes like 20 hours, and just throw it out there. I like to track how much time it takes. Like I have like a spreadsheet. I'm doing it partly because I'm like doing it for work too, but it's also just helpful to know in general. Like I'll do like what date I was like working on it, the time I started and the time I ended, and then how much time that was. And then it just gives me like a good sense of, specifically for working, it gives me a good sense of like, am I charging the right amount? But I think it also just like, I don't know. I think it's helpful even just like for your artwork to understand like, yeah, how much time it's taking. So nah, it's gonna take a lot of time. But what kind of like video essay do you want to make?
Oh, I missed part of that.
Oh, what kind of video essay do you want to make about what?
Um, it's basically like trying to use different TV shows and movies to explain different revolutionary concepts, essentially. Um,
Mhm.
like the original, like I did shoot a pilot of it a long, like in 3 days into the pandemic, and then my entire team collapsed from like not
Yeah.
wanting to do things, which makes sense. I get it. Uh,
Mhm.
Trying to see. But yeah, if y'all are bored, you can always check out the remnants of the podcast.
All right. Cool. It was a cool ass project.
Yeah.
Firefly. Nice. Respect. Respect. I shot my own film like 6 years ago and I never edited it. It's so hard to look at your own work sometimes and it sucks. Like people like put in effort to like one of the things we did is we like dumped like like dish soap on this person as like a part of it and like I don't know, he put it whatever. I need if you know an editor who will work for very little money and just look at this stupid ass film I made. It's just, yeah, I realize like I can't edit my own thing. So I don't blame you, man. It's, artists, we always have our own blocks. So
Yeah, hearing my own voice, yeah, for like hours on end while editing is not fun.
yeah, man. Yeah, I totally understand it. Yeah. We hoard. I like those Mean Girls and How to Overthrow Dictators. That's like a crazy connection.
Yeah, that was the original, like what ended up actually starting the podcast.
Mm, nice.
But yeah, I might
So,
try it one more time, just to see, try to push through.
so have you ever taken a class in Premiere Pro?
Yeah, I just took one over, was it either over the summer or the fall of last year or something? Spring of last year, that's how time works. Um,
Nice.
and it was useful, but it was like we were learning so many other things too. It was like just an intro to video production. So we like dabbled in like screenwriting and like lighting, and all that kind of stuff. So it was a deep dive.
I think I took an After Effects adult course at SAIC a few years ago. So I feel like they have a Premiere Pro one. And I don't know, if you learn well from the screen, like Skillshare is like super helpful. But Yeah. But also like down to like give you the ropes if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm supposed to be taking a photography class because it's like a prereq for like the full video editing class, but I'm having some mixed feelings about that, so might hit you up
Hmm.
instead.
Okay, totally. Please. All right. Gang, is there anything else we want to talk about with video editing, Canva, career stuff, propaganda stuff?
I had a quick question that I just came up with. I know we just have a few minutes. It's kind of specific. I mentioned I do comms for an org. It's called Little Sis. They do like
I don't know them.
yeah.
Research, right?
You said what?
You said research, right?
Yes. And yeah, for so a lot of the things they do, like they work remotely, they do a lot of like trainings, like virtual trainings and stuff like that. So I'm thinking like a lot of the videos I would make would be like a lot of the material I have to use are like recordings from trainings or like little teasers like that. Is there like, and a lot of it's just again virtual over Zoom. So I'm like, how do you do that and like make it look interesting and not like a Zoom? Does that make sense?
Yes.
It kind of it just feels challenging, like just only using those recordings, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. It's funny because like I've seen different approaches to it, and I actually haven't used it myself because like I've edited a full podcast episode that took place over Zoom, and I think because the quality of people's videos was good enough, I kind of got away with it. But like one thing I've seen is like people will put the video in little frames, and each person's video has like a frame and then like a background that's like something relevant. I can show you one that's like super extra, which is I think it's either it could happen here or it's behind the bastards. Let me see. Hmm. Well, one of them, it's really funny. They like have their video and it looks like it's on a board with a bunch of like red string, like pointing to all these connections because it's like a leftist podcast. What's the name? It's taking forever to load, but like, yeah, there are ways to do it. Oh, I did find it. There are ways to do it, but you might need to use, I think Premiere would probably be the one. Let me see if this is even, yeah. So there's stuff like that you can do. Um, well, I will say, like, once you get into it and you're watching like a Zoom thing, if the content's good enough, it's actually not too distracting. Oh, Haymarket actually does stuff like this. To be honest, the thing that I just sent you, I feel like is a little extra, but it's just kind of like an example, but like means yeah. Okay, actually, I think this one's a good example. I actually went to this event in person, but this one's really nice. It's like much more understated. Um, yeah.
Okay, those are good examples. Thanks.
You're welcome. If are there any last minute cues, comments? Okay. Thank you. I'm glad it could be helpful considering I just learned how to use that program. But yeah, just once again, oh, let me put my email in the chat. So that's my work name, Troy. If you want any like help, like consulting on social media, if you, especially like for dissenters and stuff like that, if you want someone to talk to about how to like do video anonymously, right? Again, I think that's relevant for direct actionists. If you want help on like video editing as like a job choice, just hit me up. Or if you need a tutorial in Premiere Pro. So, well, that's all I got, y'all. It was nice chilling with y'all. Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
The
Awesome.
show. Thanks. The show. All right, y'all. Oh, goodbye.
Bye.